Have you ever wondered what truly drives someone, perhaps even a seemingly trustworthy colleague, to commit workplace fraud? It's a question that often lingers when we hear about embezzlement or corporate scandals. We tend to think of it as a simple act of greed, but the truth is, the psychology behind it is far more intricate. A fascinating blend of individual pressures, tempting opportunities, and clever justifications. Welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on this complex issue. Workplace fraud isn't just a headline, it's a significant global challenge that has actually seen a substantial increase in recent years, particularly between 2022 and 2024. Its cost isn't just measured in financial losses, which can be staggering, but also in the severe damage it inflicts on an organization's reputation and the trust within its teams. Our goal today is to go beyond the surface, to understand the why and how from a psychological perspective, offering insights that are both illuminating and practical. To truly grasp the psychology of workplace fraud, we first need to understand the foundational theories that explain why it happens. Perhaps the most widely recognized framework is the fraud triangle, developed by criminologist Donald Cressy way back in 1953. Imagine a triangle, each point representing a crucial element that must be present for fraud to occur. The first point is pressure, or incentive. This is often a perceived financial problem that an individual feels they can't share with others. Maybe overwhelming debt, a desire to maintain a lavish lifestyle, or a secret gambling addiction. But pressure isn't always purely financial. It can be psychological, like a deep fear of failure, a need for status, or even work-related, such as unrealistic performance targets or job insecurity. Sometimes it's simply greed, or even a desire for revenge against an employer they feel has wronged them. The second point of the triangle is opportunity. This is the perceived chance to commit fraud without being caught. Think about weak internal controls in a company, a lack of proper oversight, or even poorly enforced policies. If someone believes they can exploit a loophole or that no one is watching, the opportunity arises. It's not just about finding a crack in the system, it's about perceiving that crack. And finally, the third point, which is often the most psychological, is rationalization. This is where individuals convince themselves that their fraudulent behavior is acceptable, that it's not really wrong. They might tell themselves they're just borrowing the money, or that they deserve it because they feel underpaid, or that the company is so large it won't even notice the loss. It's a mental trick, allowing them to bypass their own moral compass. Building on Cressy's work, the fraud diamond theory adds a fourth crucial element, capability. This acknowledges that it's not enough to feel pressure, see an opportunity, and rationalize. The individual also needs the personal traits and abilities to actually execute the fraud. This could include their position within the company, their intelligence, their confidence, and crucially, their skill in overriding controls or cleverly concealing their actions. Think of it as the expertise needed to pull off the deception. Beyond these core theories, other psychological factors truly illuminate who might commit fraud and where it's most likely to happen. We often observe certain personality traits in fraudsters, particularly in white-collar criminals. Characteristics like narcissism, an inflated sense of self-importance, a strong sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy for others, and impulsivity can all play a role. Interestingly, some career fraudsters also possess high IQs and a remarkable knack for finding and exploiting loopholes in systems. The organizational culture itself is a huge factor. The tone at the top, meaning the ethical climate set by leadership, profoundly influences employee behavior. If a company culture prioritizes profit above all else, even over integrity, it creates an environment where fraud can flourish. Peer pressure can also play a role, subtly nudging individuals towards questionable practices if they see others doing it without consequence. And let's not forget job satisfaction. Employees who feel unfairly treated might rationalize theft as wages in kind, a way to balance what they perceive as an injustice. We've seen these dynamics play out in numerous real-world cases. While a single deep dive isn't our focus today, consider the case of Dhirendra Prasad, an Apple employee who defrauded the company of $17 million through kickbacks and inflated invoices. He meticulously exploited opportunities and likely rationalized his actions over time. Or think of Bernie Madoff, a corporate fraud mastermind who epitomized capability on a grand scale, leveraging his position and intelligence to build an elaborate Ponzi scheme that required constant pressure and rationalization to maintain. Even closer to home, an IT services company faced a $7 million embezzlement scheme involving no-show jobs and disguised personal expenses, a clear example of opportunities being exploited through weak oversight. These cases, from the high-profile to the seemingly mundane, illustrate the consistent presence of the fraud triangle and diamonds elements. So why is this issue trending now? As mentioned, reports show a significant increase in workplace fraud cases between 2022 and 2024. A key contributing factor is believed to be the rise of remote working environments. While remote work offers many benefits, it can inadvertently create more opportunities for fraud. Reduced direct oversight, weaker interpersonal relationships between colleagues and managers, and potentially less visible accountability structures can all contribute to an environment where fraud becomes easier to conceal. It's a new challenge in an evolving landscape. Despite decades of research, there are still crucial areas of debate and ongoing exploration in understanding workplace fraud. One significant challenge is what researchers call the black box of employee decision-making. We need more individual-level research to truly understand the specific psychological and behavioral processes that drive an employee from contemplation to action. How do various theories like the fraud triangle, diamond, and gone theory best integrate? Which factors are most predictive? The impact of remote work is another hot topic. How exactly does it affect oversight, accountability, and a fraudster's psychological disengagement? And what about prevention strategies? Is it enough to just strengthen internal controls, or do we need to focus more on fostering an ethical culture, improving employee satisfaction, or even psychological profiling? There's no single easy answer. Finally, it's important to remember that the impact of fraud extends far beyond the direct victims. Researchers like Jung-Ho Choi highlight the trickle-down tragedy of corporate fraud. When major scandals like Enron or WorldCom occur, it's not just the shareholders who suffer. Mid-level and lower-level employees often face significant wage losses and job displacement. This raises crucial questions about accountability and support systems for those indirectly harmed. Ultimately, the future of combating workplace fraud hinges on addressing these very questions. It means continued emphasis on individual-level research, developing more integrated theoretical models, and crucially, adapting our prevention and detection strategies to today's evolving work environments, especially the implications of remote work. Ultimately, it calls for a balanced approach, robust internal controls combined with a strong ethical organizational culture, fostering employee satisfaction, and ensuring comprehensive accountability. Fraud isn't just about bad apples. It's about understanding the intricate psychological brew of pressure, opportunity, rationalization, and capability, often within a specific organizational context. By understanding these underlying psychological drivers, we can create more resilient systems and foster environments where integrity is not just valued, but truly protected. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of a truly complex human and organizational challenge. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and let's all contribute to building more ethical workplaces.